are these people?
Let's get to the UAW. Holy moly. Mike Elk from Payday Report is one of the better independent reporters out there. He's been doing this a long time, reporting on unions and reporting on rank and file worker perspective and their attempts to organize against the bosses. He tends to sometimes get a little pro rah-rah about the union leadership itself, but I think that he's really starting to figure it all out, especially about the UAW. And we've been talking a lot about Shawn Fain and the UAW and how the Federal Monitor has been charging them with withholding documents, but also with corruption. And now with last week, we talked about how they were
corruption,
how they were punishing and potential that employees were afraid to speak out for fear of retaliation by senior management. All right. So now we hear that the Federal Monitor is investigating his purge of top allies while a convicted felon steers UAW legal. Wait, a convicted felon? Yeah, that's also happening. Huh? Yes, a convicted felon.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that.
So I want to,
depending on what the felony is.
This article is long. No? I will say it's broken up into 4 parts, and he's got it sectioned off. And we're going to go section by section, and we'll take a little break in between and talk about them because they're a little bit different for each one. Let's go back here. All right. First part is about the Federal Monitor. So he says this month, the UAW Federal Monitor, Neil Borofsky, accused the UAW, which is under a federal consent decree, of refusing to turn over documents regarding the demotion of UAW Secretary-Treasurer Margaret Mock and UAW Vice President Rich Boyer. Again, this is the same thing that we've been talking about, that they blew the whistle and said that during the stand-up strike, they were making promises to the workers that they knew they weren't able to keep. All right. Payday Report has now learned that the UAW President Shawn Fain's top legal advisor, Nathaniel Charney, is a convicted felon who pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice charges for hiding information regarding embezzlement in the Teamsters in the 1990s. 25 years later, Charney and his legal team are accused again of hiding information from the union's membership. Do we see a pattern here?
As we always do.
The Federal Monitor seeks to obtain thousands of internal union emails regarding the purge of some UAW President Shawn Fain's top allies, including, like we said, Secretary-Treasurer Margaret Mock and VP of Stellantis, Rich Boyer, but of course the UAW has resisted. A court-ordered confidential survey of several hundred UAW staffers showed that 40% of the UAW staffers feared retaliation if they spoke about problems within the UAW. Again, we covered this last week. Borofsky, who won praise from many progressives for his role as the special inspector for TARP, which, if you remember, was that, just after the bailouts in the 2008 congressional thing, they had him as a special inspector to make sure that the money was being paid back or being used appropriately. Right? That was during the Obama administration. He's facing a smear attack from Ryan Grimm. You know Ryan Grimm?
Oh. Unfortunately.
Autopilot.
I'd like to not.
Previously of The Intercept.
Sunshine of the spotless mind, that'd be nice.
Currently of Breaking Points, or whatever his Breaking the Point, or whatever his stupid show is over there, on top of, here you go, Counterpoint. He's going to mention that. Now he just launched his own, recently launched his own publication, Dropsite News, with Jeremy Scahill. I've got a lot to say about that too. We can talk about it. We're going to cover that in another night. But Grimm is a progressive superstar with over 350,000 followers on Twitter and is the host of the hit web show Counterpoint, which has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. That's not really fair.
Can you stop embarrassing yourself?
That's not really fair to say because Counterpoint doesn't have 1 million Breaking Points does.
No.
And Counterpoint is a Friday afternoon show or something, a one show out of the entire network that they claim. Now, Grimm recently won praise for questioning the New York Times reporting on sexual assaults committed by Hamas during its attack on October 7th, 2 months after the Gray Zone and
like
Zay Squirrel
8 months
did,
late.
right?
Right.
Now, he's used his perch as a respected journalist to run a hit job accusing Neil Barofsky, who's Jewish, of having a secret Zionist agenda in his role as the UAW's federal monitor. The union has called for a ceasefire in Gaza. However, this is very important. Nowhere in Ryan Grimm's reporting on UAW's federal monitor has he disclosed that his managing editor and co-founder of Dropsite News, Nausicaa Renner, is married to the director of the UAW communications, Jonah Furman. We've actually read several Jonah Furman articles on this show. Jonah used to have his own publication called Who Gets the Bird. He reported on labor news. He reported for labor news, literally. And then he got hired by Teamsters for a Democratic Union, I believe. And he started pushing Teamster propaganda. And he sold the shitty UPS deal for the Teamsters to their membership on the quote-unquote left, claiming that it was a win. We debunked all of that crap in real time. Let me continue. Furman controls the UAW's multi-million-dollar media budget, and is a powerful figure within the labor movement. He's given work to scores of progressive videographers and communicators and used the power of the UAW's vast social media space to make the work of their preferred journalists go viral. He's never done that for us, I can tell you right now. Now, through interviews with UAW members, legal experts, and a review of legal documents, Payday reporters learned that Grimm's reporting, based on one anonymous source, is not accurate. Go figure. In our 16-month-long investigation, Payday Report has discovered a troubling and well-documented pattern of intimidation and retaliation against those who speak up against misconduct in the UAW. I don't think that's any surprise to us. All right? Unbelievable. At a time when the UAW was taking a major setback following the defeat of the union drive at the Mercedes plant in Alabama, this expose by Payday Report raises troubling questions about the dysfunctionality and abuse of employees within the UAW by the Fain administration. Remember, these mostly are employees of the big three. They're not even employees necessarily of just the UAW. He says, in quote, in the words of union employees, that internal audit reported to be representative of this cohort, the union needs to end the toxic idea that fear is a motivator, correct the retaliation, and remove the culture of fear of retribution at the union. And that's what Borofsky wrote himself. Okay, he's a federal monitor, and he's there. And look, the Biden administration is tongue bathing, having a big tongue kiss right now with the UAW leadership. We know this. They're totally in bed with Shawn Fain. So for one of their monitors, federally appointed, to be saying this, that's got to be real problems, okay? So what the hell is going on? But we knew that he had purged 3 top quote-unquote allies that had flipped on him, all right, because they had seen what he was doing corruption-wise, Shawn Fain, and they were trying to let the membership know. All right. So let me.
I'm sure they got rewarded for their courage.
Yeah, let me stop there. Yep, because everyone says they can't stand Ryan Grimm. Hi, Heidi Benner. Good to see you. Yep. He didn't get a Grimm job yet, but we're going to get one. Oh, boy. Juan Guaido showing up in chat. I don't think that's the same Juan Guaido that is it? That doesn't look like the same guy. Ryan Grimm definitely might be cutting his own hair. I think that's a rug, honestly. I don't even think that's his own hair anyway. Right. Anyway, let's get back to what Sean Fain is doing in purging his allies. Oh, you know what? Before we did that, I wanted to drop this real quick. That anyone that could potentially help us support independent media, we really appreciate it. We are going to be raising money toward supporting the Zago brothers for the next couple of months, toward their independent cartoon art for representing all the Indie Media Award honorees. We're going to be releasing that probably when we do the 2024 awards later this year. I already have some of the art, and it looks incredible. I can't wait for everyone else to see it. But, you know, Lucio's got a bunch to still work on, so we're going to wait for him to finish. All right. Shout out to Zago Brothers. If you're not following at ZAGO Brothers on Twitter, give them a follow. They're also on Instagram. Just start searching ZAGO. You'll find them. We support independent media. We are totally user-funded. We really appreciate the people that hang out in chat. They are the people that make this network and this channel what it is. And without you guys, we don't really exist. I mean, we would do this even if it was just us. We started out just us, but man, we really need all that support that you can give us. So we really appreciate that. We got that QR code up there. We talked about this last week, but we're gonna have the Zago brothers create some cartoon art. They've gotten already about 15 Indie Media Award honorees they had done on this poster called Truth Tellers. Hey, how about that? IndieMediaAwards.substack.com. You can see the whole list. But those are the best of the best in independent media. From live streamers to journalists to outlets and video creators. We have a list with all of their links and ways to find and support them. And we're going to do something special this year. We teamed up with Zago Brothers to create cartoon illustrations of each Indie Media Award honoree, and even some people to represent some of the outlets. We were trying to figure out what to do, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And so that's what the QR code and the Ko-fi is going to go towards, is supporting that with Zago and paying him for his time and for his work.